Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Vicente,
And this is Izzy.
and welcome back to another episode of the IV Podcast. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are still continuing our Jurassic Takeover, and we are starting with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We're almost done with this franchise, and ladies and gentlemen, we have so much to say about this
Oh
film.
my god, this movie is definitely one that is interesting in the Jurassic Park franchise. It definitely not the best though. Definitely
Let's
not the
just say
best.
there are a lot of mixed feelings with this movie. Like, I see people love it, but I see a lot more people hate on it. For me, I am mixed. There are some things I do love about this movie, but there's also things that I really hate in this movie, like the second half.
I'm the same way. I'm really 50-50 on this movie. I feel like the first half of this movie is chef kiss, great. They should have just did that for the whole movie. And the second half, it just falls. It just falls to the ground and goes like 60 under.
It does. And like, the first time I seen this movie in 2018, I loved it. I thought it was better than the first Jurassic World. But then the next day, I went to go see Jurassic World, the first one again. I put it on into my Blu-ray player, and I was like, damn, this is a good ass movie. Shit. And then 2 weeks later, I went to go see Fallen Kingdom again, and I'm like, and I take off the blind glasses, whatever you want to call it, the honeymoon phase. Watch it again, I'm like, damn, this is like, it's not as good as I remember.
Yeah, for me, this movie was just really confusing to me, especially the second part because I did not get it.
Like, I get it. The thing with this movie is that it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, it tries to, for me, the story is it doesn't know what story it wants to set on, and it feels like Lost World at a lot of times, but also it shouldn't feel like Lost World or any other Jurassic Park movie. It should be its own thing. I know I gave shit to Jurassic World about being a requel and playing it safe, but at least it did some different things in the franchise. This one just kind of does feel like Lost World, but a little bit more. I don't know how to say it, but this movie has an identity problem.
Yeah. Plus, I will like to point out that I feel like this movie only really made sense after the next one came out because before this, I think everybody was confused.
Yeah, especially with the ending, and we'll get to that later.
Mhm.
But some cool facts about this movie is that this movie has way more dinosaurs than any other in the franchise, and you can see it. It has the Baryonyx, the Allosaurus, and just other cool dinosaurs like the Carnotaur. And so I like seeing a nice variety of each and every different species of dinosaurs.
Yeah, and I think this was the perfect movie to do it with, especially with the storyline in the first act of this movie.
Oh yeah, this is actually the first and only Jurassic Park movie to have a post credit scene. I don't know if they're trying to copy the ride that Marvel and DC do, but I mean the post credit scene's cool in its own way. But even then, I'm like, you didn't really need it. Kind of like an unnecessary post credit scene.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't really needed, but it was a cool fun bit.
Yeah, and also Jeff Goldblum was almost cut from this movie just because his role in this movie is so small. It's just basically a cameo. I'm on the fence about it. I love it. But at the same time, it adds a little bit to the movie. But you could have just done this with another character. You could have it could have been done a different way to where you didn't really need Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, for me, I feel like they just did it just to have it like a Jeff Goldblum cameo in it, and to bring back the character Ian Malcolm. There was really no like, oh, he has to be in this because of the storyline. I think it was just
Yeah.
for nostalgia
It's not
reasons.
like he was on an island helping Owen and Claire, but
Yeah.
I also think this is a stepping stone to have the legacy characters return in Dominion, which we'll talk about next week. And Izzy, you actually have a cool fact you want to share?
Oh yeah. So when I was looking for facts, basically in this movie, a lot of the dinosaurs were made to be more realistic and more animalistic rather than like these fantasy creatures as we've seen in like other movies, say like the first Jurassic Park where we're like all in awe about them. They actually feel like animals in this movie.
And I like that. And one of my biggest problems I had with Jurassic Park 3 was that the Spinosaurus sometimes felt like it was just a theme park monster. It didn't feel like an animal. And in this Jurassic Park franchise, every dinosaur does feel like an animal in its own type of way. And that's what makes it unique. They could have just pulled the easy route and the cliche route of actually having them feel like monsters, but no. They actually feel like they're real. even the CGI, when it's all CGI, it still feels real, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like it makes this movie so much better when they put that animal like feel on the dinosaurs.
Yep. So Izzy, before we get into our positive mix and negatives, what do you rate this movie, and any final words?
So I would probably give this movie, and this is honestly really harsh, but probably about a 5.8. Like I said earlier, first part's great. Second part, I could live without. I will literally take a movie with just the first part and be happy.
Damn. For me, I give this a 6.1 out of 10, and that's just being very, very generous because there are some redeeming qualities in this movie, but at the same time, the second half just gets really, really controverting. How do you say it?
Controversial?
Not controversial. Damn it! It gets very messy. That's what I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah,
say. Controverting. Some.
something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. It gets very complex. Complex. I'll just say that it gets very complex in the second act. Okay. So yeah. So starting off with our first positive, it is going to be. It goes back to its horror tones thanks to J.A. Bayona. Now, J.A. Bayona, he's a very well-known Spanish horror film director. I've checked out a couple of his movies. He does really good in horror. Like, this movie's up his alley. And if they were to ever do a faithful adaptations of Jurassic Park and the Lost World of the novels themselves, this would be a man who I'd want to do him. He does a lot of cool horror shots. Like in the opening scene, when our technician dude is trying to close the gates to Jurassic World so the Mosasaurus doesn't escape, he's trying to do something to the electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people in the helicopter are trying to tell this dude, hey, come back, come back. There's something in the forest. And the technician dude looks behind him and he sees nothing. Pitch blackness. And he tells the people in the helicopter, there's nothing here. And as soon as he says it, lightning strikes and we see the T-Rex just watching his ass. That is scary in itself.
Yeah, it is.
And I remember in theater, that actually made me jump a little bit.
Same.
How do you feel about that horror film in
I
particular?
mean, I think it's definitely an opening scene to remember, and I think it would be really cool to see an actual adaptation of the like original books.
Oh yeah,
And he
but
would do a
those
great
would
job.
be rated R. Like, there's no way you can make that PG-13
They
if you
would,
were to do a faithful adaptation.
yeah, they would have to be.
And even with the Endoraptor in this movie, which I'm mixed on of that dinosaur species itself, the Endoraptor, it has some scary scenes to where it's stalking them in the big mansion in the darkness. And if you thought the Indominus was scary, the Endoraptor gives it a run for its money.
Oh yeah.
And the scary thing about the Endoraptor is that it plays tricks on you. It strategizes like a mother effer. Oh, even the carnivores in this movie, they're scary too. Like, there's a scene with Franklin and Claire trying to locate where Owen's at or something. They're doing their little laptop stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but then you hear a dinosaur deep in the darkness, and it's slowly building up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a baryonyx, but it's that classic horror feel that I love about the first two Jurassic Park films, with Lost World and Jurassic Park, was that it had that horror feel to it. Jurassic Park 3, kinda, not really. Jurassic World had an idea, but this one just goes all out when it comes to horror, when it finally pays off. And I love the suspense, and I just love it.
Yeah, same. The suspense in this movie is great. The first part plays horror off so well, and it's like one of my favorite parts of the movie.
And moving on to our second positive, the character progression and arc of Claire Dearing. I told Izzy when we were watching this movie last Sunday, I told Izzy there's a scene in Jurassic World where we see her in an elevator just talking about how she's going to talk to these, like, sell a dinosaur to, like, CEOs of different companies. And she's all business, you know, just strictly business. But then we get a kind of a similar scene like that in Fallen Kingdom. But instead of just being all preppy and business, she's carrying coffee and giving it to other people. And I love that. It's so cool to see how she was in the first Jurassic World, just kind of like not mean, but just like she doesn't give a crap about anything. And then slowly in Jurassic World, she becomes the character who she is now, and that's a loving, caring, mother-like figure.
Yeah, her character's basically flip flop from the beginning of Jurassic World to this one, and I think it's great. I think it's a great thing on her character, and even the next movie, it's even better.
Yeah, like I love Owen Grady. I love Chris Pratt in this Jurassic World franchise, but I'd be lying if I said that Claire Dearing isn't the most evolved.
Oh yeah,
You know, and it helps when she's played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who's an amazing actress in herself. She has directed a couple of Mandalorian episodes and Boba Fett episodes. She's good. She knows what she's doing when it comes to characters. All right. And number 3 on our positive list, the Ian Malcolm cameo. Now, I know I said, like, if it was up to me, I would cut it, but I love it. You know, I'm on the fence. I don't know if I would have kept it or if I just would have cut it, but it's a good cameo. It's to me, because he's still the same Ian Malcolm how he was. And so he's talking about the plot of this movie, basically. Should we save the dinosaurs from extinction on Isla Nublar? Now, Isla Nublar in this movie is about to blow up because of a volcano, which is funny because if there's an active volcano on that island, why do they ever think that they could build a theme park? Which is kind of a plot hole in its own self, but that's another topic for another day. But yeah, and so there's a whole debate with all the governments in the world as if should these dinosaurs have the same animal rights that animals have now? And Ian Malcolm is one of the very first ones to say no. There's a reason why this is happening. He doesn't know if it's God's way of saying kill the dinos. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows that there's a reason why this volcano is going to destroy the island and possibly cause the extinction of these dinosaurs.
exactly. And I think having that in this movie is a great way how they tied in this movie to the original one, which I can appreciate.
Yeah, and like I said, you could have cut this Ian Malcolm's role in this movie and it wouldn't really change anything per se because you can easily do this with someone else. But it's also nice to know that they still love these legacy characters and they haven't changed a one damn bit, which I really do appreciate. And number 4 on our positive list is the first half of this movie. And this is the only thing I really love about this movie is the first half, is when they're trying to get these dinosaurs off of this island. Now, Claire and Owen only go just because they're tricked by the character of Eli Mills. And he tells Claire that supposedly he has a secret sanctuary that no one knows about where all the dinosaurs will live scot-free, you know, and the character of Benjamin Lockwood kind of agrees to that lie that Eli tells Claire. And so they only go because he thinks they're going to rescue him. So I love that part of the movie. You know, we get to see all these mercenaries, Owen and Claire, along with the characters of Zia and Franklin, go to this island and try to rescue them. But, and this is where I wish they just would have stuck to the island because the island part's so cool. To me, how cool would it have been if this movie was just about them trying to get the dinosaurs off the island, but you had to deal with the Allosauruses, the T-Rex, the Carnotaurs, maybe Blue as a secondary antagonist, while trying to get off this island alive before the volcano erupts. That would have been a badass movie to me.
I completely agree. I think they should have stayed on the island, and I really wish we had more time with the dinosaurs and like the controversy between mercenaries and Owen and Claire. I think it would help the movie a lot.
Yeah, because it could have, you know, like I know I gave this movie crap about feeling like Lost World, but at least you could have expanded a little better than how Lost World did it when it came to the mercenaries and our core group of survivors, where
Exactly.
they work together, but they're kind of at each other's throats, and that would have been really cool to see. You know, we could have gotten to see maybe know some mercenaries a little bit better that have a human side to them. But yeah, first half of this movie is just a chef's kiss, a mwah, you know.
Yes.
All right, and finally, our final positive is the Raptor Blue. Now, in Jurassic World, I was kind of mixed on the Raptors themselves because I'm used to seeing them as villains. But Blue, as a character herself, I start to like her in this one and then a little bit more in Dominion.
Yeah, I agree. Her character, I think it's nice that they didn't just make her remember Owen right away. I like how she was still that scary dinosaur when they first got to the island.
Yeah, she's a wild animal, and that's very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
That is really realistic in its own way. All right, and now we're at our negatives, and I'm just going to say this right now. We have way more negatives than we do positives.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off with our first negative, most of these characters suck, especially Franklin. Now, let me just say this. The only characters I like in this movie are Blue, Owen, Claire, and the character of Zia. Because she's a badass. Like they never explain it in the movie, but I think in a novelization or in some type of form of media, they explain that she was a former Marine, her character. But most of these side characters just suck. Hell, even the human antagonists of Eli and Benjamin Lockwood, they're just not memorable. And I'm sorry, I do not like the character of Franklin. Izzy will agree with me on that.
Yeah, Franklin's very much a scaredy cat, so
Yeah, and like Izzy just kept laughing at me whenever I would just shake my head when he came on screen. Like, I get what they're trying to go for, but it's like, dude, why'd you even agree to come to this fucking island if you're gonna get scared? Like, I get they needed him, but if he was that scared, you could have just found someone else.
yeah, but it's all for theatrical.
Yeah, but I don't know. He was one. He just got annoying. So whenever he came on screen, I'm just like, oh god, dude. Just I was hoping the T Rex just would have ate him or something. Yeah, I know that's mean to say. I don't hate the actor. The actor is great himself. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can dislike a character without attacking the actor himself because that is not their fault. That's more of a writing problem.
Yep.
All right, and number 2 on our negative list is the human antagonist of Eli Mills. Now, he's just so not boring, but he's very much like Peter Ludlow in The Lost World. But at least Peter Ludlow had a little bit more charisma and charm to him. Whereas with Eli, just seemed like a brat. And I know Peter Ludlow was a spoiled brat too, but like I said, at least his character had some type of charisma to him.
Yeah, he just seems very flat throughout the entire movie and was just there as the antagonist. There was no actual humanistic side to him
The,
for
I,
us to like.
the only evil thing he really does in this movie is when he kills Benjamin Lockwood.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, okay, cool. That's the one evil thing you really did in this movie. I mean, the only time I really like this character is when the T Rex ate him. That's really about it. And it sucks because the human antagonist in this franchise is what makes these movies really good. Yeah, you got the scary T Rex, you got the Raptors, but having a good human antagonist will make the movie a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of wish they just would have expanded more on the human antagonist Eli, but you live and you learn, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, and number 3 on our negative list is the character of Henry Wu. Now, hear me out. When we see him in the first Jurassic Park movie, yes, he's a little bit arrogant, but you can tell he's not a bad guy at heart. He's kind of a nice guy. And then in Jurassic World, we see him again because he's leading this top research for the dinosaurs, and it makes sense because he worked at the first theme park. But why in the hell do they make him feel like a villain? It's stupid, especially in Dominion when his character changes again. To me, I'm going to spoil it right now. In Dominion, he kind of becomes a good guy again and starts to regret his action. And it's like, that's so stupid. You're doing that at the end of this trilogy. Yeah, I don't like how his character is evil and up to this point in Fallen Kingdom, but at least stick with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have just kept his character the bad guy, and I think the movies would have been so much better, especially in Dominion. But I'm curious what the writer's choices were for that.
Yeah, because in the first novel, in the first Jurassic Park book, he dies in the middle of the book in a horrific way by the raptors. And so I was kind of hoping he just would have died in Fallen Kingdom, something where Blue killed him the same way as he died in the novel. But it's just, I don't care for the character of Henry Wu. Just this whole transformation from an okay, normal guy to the secret mad scientist. It's like, kind of whack, It's like, who would have expected this dude from the first movie to be this crazy mad scientist?
Exactly. And also, if people have that argument that, oh, he's the only one who knows the research. No, there are other companies out there now, especially by Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, that know how to do this stuff. So he's not the only one who knows how to do it. So that's not.
And I get it. I get it. They want to bring back as many legacy characters as you can, but it's like, come on, man. Like, Henry Wu, he's evil now. And I get it. People change over time, but When you watch the first movie, you can't see him how he is now.
Exactly.
And now number 4 on our negative list, the pacing of this movie feels off. Holy crap. That first half of the movie was pretty much perfect, but we barely get any time on the island before it gets destroyed. It just seems like this movie wants to get to the second half of this movie, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I shouldn't say it sucks, but it's very boring. Like, it's just dormant. There's nothing exciting about it. Like the whole thing is that they want to take these dinosaurs off the island and sell them to different countries so they can make a quick buck, and it's so stupid.
Yeah. Like, the first part of this movie is great, but I will say that the pacing is really quick because, like you said, they want to get back to get to the second part, which I feel like literally is so boring. All you're seeing is a freaking auction, and it's just like, okay, we're here, we're stuck in a mansion now. Where else are we gonna go with this story?
Yeah, and it feels weird for the Jurassic Park franchise. It feels very, very weird
Mm-hmm.
to just have all these animals at one mansion in the middle of the forest. It's just like you can just tell they didn't give a crap about the island storyline. They just wanted to get to this one mansion for some weird reason, and I don't. And if they just would have written it better and paced it a little bit more to where we had it even on both sides, I would have liked it. As much shit as I can give Lost World for all of a sudden having the ending be on San Diego, at least it feels somewhat normal, as if it was always part of the story. This one just kind of feels like it was a last minute thing.
Yeah, it feels like it was rushed. It's like, oh, we don't have enough time to film at the island, so let's just go to this mansion we own and stick all the dinosaurs there.
Yeah. All right. And so for our final negative, we're going to combine all three: the cloning storyline and the ending of this movie. Now, what I mean by the cloning storyline, spoilers if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know why I say it. You should have just watched this by now. But in the movie, there's a character named, what's her name again?
Maisie.
Maisie. And supposedly, she's the granddaughter of Benjamin Lockwood's original daughter. But in this movie, for as far as we know, just for this movie, it's revealed that she's a clone of his daughter that died in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get it. They cloned dinosaurs in this movie. Why am I tripping out about them cloning a human? At least with cloning dinosaurs, that seems somewhat of a realistic approach. But cloning a whole ass human to perfection, I am sorry. There is just no fucking way.
Yeah.
Excuse my French. I am sorry, Elijah Lewis and any other kid that watches his podcast. But yeah.
And I think, okay, I will say that they do explain the whole process of the cloning in Dominion a little bit better, so I don't mind the cloning storyline now. But when this movie first came out, it confused me so much.
It confused a lot of people, and I hated it. It didn't feel like Jurassic Park. And that's why, John Hammond was Benjamin Lockwood's old partner, but then he found out Lockwood cloned his own daughter, supposedly, and he stopped it.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I get it. It's a franchise about cloning dinosaurs. It's sci-fi, blah, blah, blah. But at least it feels realistic because we can actually, I'm pretty sure a real life Jurassic Park could happen. As far as cloning humans, I'm weird about it.
Yeah, no, it's the whole cloning humans thing takes me out of the whole Jurassic Park, and it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and like when you watch the other movies, it's like, damn, now we're in a human cloning.
Yeah.
Kind of whack. And then what I mean by the ending, I'm sorry. If anyone loves this movie, you are entitled to your own opinion, and I respect it. I just hate the fucking ending. Excuse my French to my nephews Elijah Lewis and any other kid that watches this. I do not like the ending of this movie. So the ending of this movie is basically all these dinosaurs are trapped in this one room, and there's a gas leak that's going to kill all of them unless they're released into the forest in California. Now, realistically, what are you doing in that situation? And I guarantee there is not one soul on this planet that would save those things. Regardless if all of them were herbivores, there is no way. You realize, and it's just not even like the fatalities it'll cause to human life, but the whole ecological disaster, finance disasters, just everything that can go wrong if you keep these creatures alive. One out of 100 times, you are definitely letting these dinosaurs die. And so the character of Maisie pushes the button and lets them go, and she has the balls to say, if I got to live, so do they. I am sorry, kid. Do you not realize what you have done to this earth?
When the kid destroys the storyline.
Like, no. I love the T-Rex. I love the Raptors. I love the Stegosaurus. I love every dinosaur, but there is no way in hell I'm letting those things go. Like I said, it's not even the fatalities. You're going to cause so much shit to the ecosystem, just everything. And so now the dinosaurs are into the mainland and everything, causing havoc. And all thanks to this freaking one little clone girl that literally probably killed everyone on Earth.
Yeah, it after the ending of this movie, you question where this franchise is gonna go, and Dominion definitely does a good job of explaining. We'll talk about that more next
Ooh,
week.
okay, Izzy, that's a little.
I
We talked
mean,
about this. Okay, I don't want to get too. I don't want to talk about too much about Dominion, but I will say what a cool storyline they could have really done with Dominion. They kind of they crap. They put out crap.
mm, well, okay, when you're talking about that storyline, yes, but I mean, just like explaining where the dinosaurs in the world.
Okay, yeah, no,
That's what I was
that's
talking
cool.
about.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
with the whole like now different countries have them. You know,
exactly.
terrorists can make these dinosaurs. That's a cool idea, but it thanks to this one. Before anyone gets on our ass, oh, but the auction out the dinosaurs, yeah, to people that will put them in cages. She literally let them out in the wild to where they will definitely kill people and start ecological disasters and financial disasters. You literally probably doomed humanity, little girl.
Yep.
I am sorry. Not even Lex or Tim or Zach and Gray would have pressed that button. He would have just said, you know what, let these things die. I'm sorry. Hell, Ian Malcolm probably would have slapped you or something. All right.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for our Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom review. Is it a perfect movie? No. Is it a bad movie? No. Is it a good movie? Hell no. I just think it's okay. It gets us from point A to point B, but it does it in a very slow, weird pacing.
Yeah, I agree. This movie is definitely not the best, and I think the only reason why I enjoy it more now is because of Dominion and the storyline. This Act 2 was explained more in Dominion, but even then, I don't think a movie should rely on its suppressor to be a good movie.
Yeah, and no, like I said, it's that whole human cloning storyline and the ending that just kind of takes me out of this movie. It's like come on. Like I said, my final verdict of this movie, I think the casual moviegoer will somewhat like it, but fans of this franchise will probably not like it. Like I said, for me, I'll give it a 6.1 out of 10.
Yeah, and for me, it's still a 5.8. So,
All right. And thank you for listening to our Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom review. And remember, this Sunday, we're finally going to talk about if we'll ever cover Star Wars on the podcast. And people may not like what I have to say. What me and Izzy will have to say. You know, I'm not going to say if we're going to cover it, but I'm also not going to deny it. Who knows? You never know. And if we do cover it, we're going to have rules. You know, because that we'll talk more about it on Sunday. That's all I'm going to say. And as always, thank you for listening to our podcast. Take care of each other, but most importantly, take care of yourself. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out, everyone.
actually, I have one more thing before we go.
What's up, babe?
So, as of the publication of this episode on Friday afternoon, all of our episodes should be on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, yes, we're moving to Spotify too. So, yeah, Spotify will do audio versions, but me and Izzy are going to start doing video podcasts on YouTube now. So you'll get a best of both worlds of which one you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, as always, peace out, everyone.
Bye, guys.